What's up everybody, Josh here, and today we're taking a look at photo restoration in Photoshop. It's a lot easier than what it used to be. Nowadays you can use Adobe's neural filters in order to do it in one click. And if you don't have Adobe Photoshop, go ahead and click on the link in the description. You can get a free trial, and it's not just of Photoshop. You can also trial the entire Creative Cloud suite, so Photoshop, Premiere Pro, InDesign, Illustrator, After Effects, the list goes on. So hopping right into Photoshop here, our example today, it has some tears, it has a big chunk missing, it's a little bit faded, it's also in black and white. So what can we do with this photo? Well, we're going to go up to Filter, Neural Filters, and scroll down to the bottom and you'll see Photo Restoration. If you go down here to Photo Restoration and that little toggle button isn't available to you, there's probably a little download button. Go ahead and download that filter first. Once it's done, you can click that toggle button. And if you look at our example here, it has smoothed the skin. It's increased the contrast. It's done a really good job on that face. Now we can see that there are still lines and scratches, some chunks taken out. So we're going to go over here to our adjustments, and you'll see this slider called Scratch Reduction. We're going to turn that up all the way to 100 and watch what it does. Alright, so we've taken out some scratches on the face. Not all of the tears have been removed. There's still a scratch in the hair. So this is not a perfect filter, but if you have a photo that has small scratches and some minor imperfections, this is going to be all you need to restore your photo. Obviously, this one's going to need to go a little bit further. If we click on adjustments, you can see there's also noise reduction, color noise reduction, halftone artifacts reduction, and JPEG artifacts reduction. For this example, we don't need to play with any of these. Definitely do play with these once you get your own photos in there, just so you can see how the tool works. But for right now, we're going to jump out of this filter. Down here at output, I'm going to change this to a new layer. So it's going to take these adjustments and apply them to a new layer. So if I click the little eye next to our new layer, there's our original, and there's our enhanced. Now let's go through and start taking care of these other imperfections. So first, I notice here on the neck, by the way, I'm holding Alt and using my scroll wheel on my mouse to zoom in. Now if we go over here to our Tools panel, I'm going to select the Spot Healing Brush tool. So I'm going to click that. And if you need to change the diameter of your brush, you can quickly do that with the brackets, the left and right brackets on your keyboard. Up here in the brush settings, I'm actually going to change my hardness to 50%. That's going to give it a nice feather around the edges. Hit escape, get out of that, and then I'm just going to make my brush just big enough to cover that spot and click. Maybe click and brush around it a little bit until it looks right. That looks pretty good. Then I'm going to hold my spacebar and then click and drag to move my photo around. Again, Alt scroll wheel to zoom in and out. And I'm just going to paint over these imperfections, these scratches, and it's using content aware. If you go up here to the panel, you can see it's using content aware, so it's using AI to fill in those imperfections. And if you need to undo anything, Control and Z on PC will undo those. I think that's good enough. Let's go over here to the corner. Actually, let's go up to her hair. There's this big white scratch. I'm just going to paint over that. That looks pretty good. Got a scratch here. big one down here. Make the brush a little bit bigger so it fades a little bit better. So what we can do with this corner is use content aware again to fill in that big chunk that's missing. So I'm going to go over here to my lasso tool, and I'm actually going to use the polygonal lasso tool. And I'm just going to click, drag, click, drag, click. And I'm just going to do that until I've selected that whole chunk. And then click on my starting point, we'll close the loop. And now I'm going to right click, go down to Content Aware Fill, and it's going to open the Content Aware Fill tool. And you can see the green is actually what it's sampling to fill in that gap. Now it actually looks as good as we're probably going to get, but I do notice that it's sampling some of the image that I don't want it to sample. So in order to get rid of that area that it's sampling, you're just going to click and just paint over those green areas. And it's going to get rid of those. I don't want it to sample the hair, so I'm going to drag over those. There. And you see it's actually changed what that looks like a little bit from untargeting those areas. So that actually looks great. You can see down here, output. You can do current layer, new layer, or duplicate layer. I'm just going to apply it to the current layer. I don't care about this being non-destructive at this point. I'm going to hit apply, hit OK. And then you can see this is still selected. I'm just going to hit Control and D to unselect. And that's looking pretty stinking good. So what's the next step with this? Well, we want to colorize it. To do that, we can either do it manually with brushes, which is going to be rather time consuming, or we can go back to our neural filters. So I'm going to go to Filter, back to Neural Filters. Then I'm going to scroll down, and under Color, we have Colorize. I'm going to turn that switch on. And that's actually done a really good job right off the bat of colorizing that photo. Now, one thing that I'm not happy with, as you can see on the right side here, the background goes from blue to brown. I'd rather just have the entire background this blue color. So in order to do that, I'm going to go over here to my focal points, and I'm going to click on part of the background that's brown, and a color picker is going to show up, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball kind of what I think that color is. This kind of light blue color. Hit OK. And you can also adjust the strength of that color, make it a little more black and white, a little more saturated. I think that looks pretty good. And if we scroll down here, you can see that there are profiles you can select. So super high contrast. You can do retro with purples and yellows, more blues, more browns. I like it kind of as is, so I'm going to leave it there. You can adjust the saturation and the color balance. Color artifact reduction, you have noise reduction. I'm going to leave those as is because I think it looks good as is. Down here at output, I'm going to change this to a new layer. So it's going to take these adjustments and apply them to a new layer. And there you have it. And if we hide some of these layers, there's our colorized, there's our black and white, and there's our original. So you can see those neural filters made an absolutely massive difference in our final image. But that's all I have for you today. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.